G'day friends, welcome to today's video. My name is James. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. Today I'm going to be working in my Hobonichi 5-year Techo. This is something I started last year actually, and I'm currently on my second year. It goes all the way to 2023. So yeah, let's get into it. Here's the thing. Ready for the full tea? I am 2 weeks, if not actually 15 days, behind in my Hobonichi 5 years. So I decided that since I was going to catch up in it anyway, why not film it? I rarely ever film working in this journal. I think I've done a few little drawings in here that I've put on YouTube, but just because a lot of it is journaling and writing, and I don't think that makes for the most exciting and thrilling content, although that is not my goal. Anyway, don't get your hopes up. I just don't usually film it because I think it's like, what are you making a video of at that point? For me personally, if you love watching that, that is totally fine. I hope you've got lots of videos to watch on YouTube. I'm sure there are people that do it. But yeah, I'm more trying to focus on the art when I'm doing it. And since that, I never know which days I'm going to draw and which days I'm not going to. It's just something I don't put into my repertoire for filming, I guess. But decided to today and did a whole 2 weeks worth. So I had a few pages that I decided to draw little bits and pieces from, literally. This was the Merry Mix Media live Christmas party that we did one Saturday, a couple of Saturdays ago. So I decided to depict those. A lot of the times I'm drawing in here, I'm not actually drawing new things. I'm drawing things that I've liked from other like little classes that I've taught, or from events, or like if you've done an Art Journaling the Magic thing. Sometimes I just draw like locations or photos that I've taken. I'll kind of reinterpret it. I rarely put stickers or washi tape or anything bulky in here, just because it is 5 years. I mean, it's technically 1 year because there's 5 years on a page, but that's like 365 pages at least in the book, and I just don't want to stress the binding. So I even kind of capped how much painting I would do in here. Since the paper is Tomoe River paper, it's quite thin, it still buckles when you use watercolor on it, and even the buckling can kind of bulk up the journal. So I'm a little bit more restricted in here than, say, a regular journal, especially for my planner slash wheneverly Hobonichi. That's the only other Hobonichi I own, really. Actually, no, I have a couple that I use as sketchbooks. But needless to say, those ones I can be a bit more free in, but because this is 5 years and I'm going to keep flipping through it, it's bound super well, and I've talked about that before, but I just don't want to risk, getting to 2022 and then seeing the whole thing just fall apart, because, I mean, who knows, maybe I'll have binding skills by then and it wouldn't be a big deal, but I don't know too much about how to remedy that problem. So just preempting some of that and making sure that, I don't just go overboard on every page, which is also something I had to tell myself when I first started last year, because I thought I had to draw something every day, and like every day for 5 years I had to have something on there, and then I realized I've got 5 years to finish that page, and it's A6, it's tiny, it's teeny tiny. Look at those little watercolor tins there, that they almost fit on that entire page. So once I finally figured that out, I didn't feel the need to stress about drawing on every page. However, I do feel the need to write on every single space. But because, and you're watching this now, because it's been 2 weeks since I've been in it, which, fun fact, really only ever happens when I rest. When I'm really busy, I actually keep on top of everything. But when I take a rest, like for now I'm on Christmas vacation, I tend to let that fall by the wayside. Isn't that weird? The more time I have to do it, the less likely I am to do it. So go figure that out. But I decided to kind of track through my days by looking at my phone. I take a lot of pictures, and so usually I can tell what I've done by looking at my planner and seeing what was on that day, and then looking at photos that I've taken that day. Sometimes I'll even write down little notes here and there about like something that happened, if I know that I'm going to work with that later. So off to the side of the screen you don't see this, but I actually have a little, December 3 to December 18 little checklist, and they're just little prompts there to write about for things that had happened over the past couple of weeks. And I had a lot happen. It's actually, it's interesting to block all of your journaling together like that. It's not on purpose. I mean, I just fall behind because I fall behind. But I always manage to catch up, and whenever I do these like multiple days at a time, it's really funny to see how the weeks kind of ebb and flow, and like massive moments that I have on one random Saturday, and then 3 days of kind of nothing that happen after that. It puts a lot into perspective, I guess, to really make sure. I mean, lots of journaling does this, but to really make sure you grab onto those really exciting things as they're happening, and try and bleed them dry, I guess. Really enjoy every single moment, because you never know when there's going to be another little lull in the excitement. And if 2020 has taught me anything, it's to, I mean, I guess I learned this in 2015 as well. I probably should have learned it a lot earlier, but to really look for all those silver linings. So a lot of the time I'm writing, I write about some of the things that I'm grateful for, some of the things that I was excited about, or some milestones that happened, even if they're really, really small, because I will forget all of those, and they may seem small to me today, but even looking back through last year, I mean, look, it says I was sick this time last year. It's a really great comparison to to see where you've come from and where you're going, and to see how even my feelings about things have shifted. I mean, I wrote sick so big and bold last year, and like that was the biggest, most dramatic thing that had ever happened to me in 2019. But for this year, I mean, put that into perspective, I am so unbelievably grateful to not have to write that in one of these columns this year. I've been super diligent about keeping myself as healthy as I can. Actually, I shouldn't say that. That's an outright lie. I eat so much junk food, which I know I shouldn't do. But needless to say, I guess I'm really grateful that, sick was a 2019 thing on that page, and not something I actually have to be living with this year. It's an interesting way to reflect daily on yourself, because I mean, I guess people who keep 5-year diaries for different reasons. I'm keeping this as a record for myself. It's not really directed towards anyone, and I write lots of different things in here. Sometimes I even get mad at myself for writing just the general happenings of the day, because like there's so many other things to write about. This is not a journal prompt video or anything, but just other things that have happened. Like sometimes I write prayers in here, like the literal, like the thoughts that I'm thinking when I pray, and things that I have, just like the epiphanies that I've had, or little miracles that have happened, or sometimes I'll even just write quotes or song lyrics. And I don't listen to songs. I'm not one to do like the Spotify Wrapped 2020 thing. In fact, I don't even have Spotify. I use Steve's. And even then I only do it for when I'm live streaming or something. But yeah, I think it's interesting to kind of dive into all the different things you can document about yourself, not just the things that happen to you. And I guess even that is a perspective, right? Sometimes we document in a way that reflects all of the outside and the way it influences upon us. And then other times I write about the way that I am out there, and the kind of things that I am choosing to do. Do you know what I mean? I think there's a bit of an interesting thing that happens when I refocus my attention from, oh, look at all the things that are happening outside to me, and shift that towards like, look at what I'm doing, to contribute to that outside world, whether it be good or bad. I tend not to write too much bad in here, and not because I'm in denial about it. I can process that elsewhere. But a lot of the things that become public on YouTube or Instagram, I just don't like to have too many super revealing things in there. Oh, Steve's here. I'm going to take a break and I'll come back in 1 second. Sorry about that. I'm back. Steve's here. Steve, my husband, walked in the door. But now he's gone again. But he may walk back in the door. I don't know. He's up and down checking things in the car. So I might be distracted in about 2 minutes. But I will endeavor to keep chatting through this, because I've forgotten what I was saying. What was I talking about? I think it was perspective. The perspective I was journaling from? Anyway, hopefully I finished my thought before I left you. But, oh, there he is. He's come back. I'm so distracted. It's fine. Oh, now the cat's trying to escape. Anyway, so I wanted to just make this video so that I could literally catch up. If this is something that maybe you thought never happened to people, here's the proof. People fall behind. It's not something I typically share, because this journal isn't something I typically share. It's usually just writing, and that doesn't make for the most exciting videos for me to edit. So I don't usually film myself working in it, and I can never know which days I'm going to want to draw something, or want to put a little illustration on the side, so yeah, I don't typically film this. And also, I was thinking about it. I was also thinking, like, I wonder if this would make a really good Christmas present, but I have a few thoughts about that. Having worked in it for all of 2019 and now all of 2020, I don't know if this would actually be a good Christmas present for people. I love it. It's one of my favorite things. But for as small as it is, I mean, it's a tiny little journal. The space to journal every day is so tiny. Like you could fill it in 2 seconds. For as small as it is, it does become something to keep up with. Like you don't imagine yourself ever falling behind something, but there are just days where by the end of the day you're so tired. And I like to journal at the end so that I'm journaling about things that have happened in the day, or just in case. Sometimes I'll journal earlier in the afternoon, and then I can just talk about feelings or something. But usually, like I want to experience the full day before I journal about it. But sometimes I'll just be way too tired, or then sometimes I go on Christmas vacation and apparently don't do it for 2 weeks. So it is something you kind of have to like commit to, and I think that's a little bit of a difficult present to give someone. Like, here you go, Merry Christmas. Here's 5 years of commitment that you didn't ask for. Look, I think if someone's expressed interest in it, it would be a fabulous present because I truly do love it. But if they haven't, if you just know someone that's into journaling and they've never talked about this before, maybe you want to kind of test the waters a little bit, just gauge the conversation and kind of see if they're into the idea, because it is a big commitment. And I've actually seen people, I don't follow a ton of people that do 5-year journaling. Like it's not a specific subsect of journaling that I'm, searching for all the time. But for the people that I do follow, some people, this is their only journal. And so it's very manageable to keep up with it, because it's the only thing you're using daily. And then other people, this is one of 10 journals that they've got going, like myself, and really struggle to find the time to be in there, or even the desire sometimes, because the format might be different, or I don't know. I don't know why we all do the things we do and how we do them, really. I think that's, everyone's got a bit of a different story going on, but it is a commitment nonetheless, no matter how small that little space looks. Every single day, I mean, there's days where I just haven't wanted to do any journaling at all, but those days stack up if you don't do it. So I don't know if I'd recommend buying this as a present. If you're looking to buy yourself a present and you've considered it, I would absolutely recommend it, but don't take for granted that it is something to commit to. And I know a lot of people, I think we all go in with the best of intentions, but I just wanted to kind of point out, as someone who's done a lot of challenges before, there can actually be a bit of a downside to really not committing to it, because it tends to eat away at the back of your brain that you're failing at something. And that's a really important thing that I've noticed throughout challenges as well, is that there is a really, really, really incredible feeling of having succeeded and having met your own expectations. I mean, these are all different topics to talk about for another day, obviously, but this is a commitment. This is daily. Of course, you can miss days and then catch up like I'm doing in this video. It happens to everybody. Even if your main job is journaling and you're on Christmas vacation, you can still miss 2 weeks of it. But it is still something to commit to, and I think it's kind of a worse feeling to feel like you're behind and that you're failing at something, rather than just waiting for the time when you feel like it would be good to commit to it. It may not be the right time right now. I know a lot of people assumed that just because 2020 happened the way that it did, that having an abundance of time, some certain people I've followed, have felt like having abundance of time would be good for them and that it would help them get a lot more done. But you kind of forget to factor in that your personal life changes as well when you've got a whole bunch of time, and maybe the things you thought you would commit to aren't the things that you feel like committing to anymore. And this 5-year journal is one that it'll be here until 2023, and then I might probably choose to do it again if I've finished it by that point. It is an actual commitment, and it's something that you'll really want to give a good go at, because I know what it feels like to have the expectation and to be so excited for it, and then to kind of not achieve that. And sometimes that just feels worse, and I know by experience, like, I probably should have waited until I was ready to commit to it. But All I can say is, I'm doing well. I do fall behind. I make it a real effort to catch up. Today I filmed that for you just so you could see what that looks like. I don't feel the need to draw on every day because I've got 5 years to fill up that extra little page. I love it. It's absolutely one of my favorite journals. I have a video on here where I've flipped all of year one, 2019 last year, and then hopefully in January I'll be able to film all of the second year now that that's documented as well. Thank you for watching the video today. Hope you had a good time. I will see you again really soon. Bye.